Hello.
Hello.
We done a weird thing where we watched Resident Evil Season 20, Episode 16 randomly.
Yes, we picked a random Resident Evil film.
Film? You say this wasn't an episode of a series that way into the series and they're tired and they don't know what to do. And there's no real consequences, like in a TV show.
Mm-hmm.
This was a movie, right?
Apparently.
Was it Resident Evil Extinction?
Probably. I don't fucking know. I immediately threw the DVD away after we watched it.
Yeah, that was the most epic part of the movie watching experience, you throwing the DVD away. That was the most emotion I got out of this movie.
Literally took it out the player and threw it across the room.
Yeah.
I do have some absolutely mind-blowing facts.
Whoa.
About the Resident Evil franchise. Things that you would just not imagine. So they kept making these films and I couldn't for the life of me figure out why. I'd never met anyone that likes them. I'd never met anyone that watched them.
Did they make money?
Yes.
Okay. Well,
That's the be all and end all of it. So have a guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
How much the total Resident Evil franchise made in its run?
2 billion?
1.2 billion.
That's not much.
It's not much.
Well,
it's a billion.
Yeah, but that's 100 movies.
For 7 films.
Okay, 7 films. Now, if a movie don't break 1 billion, it's considered a flop.
Okay, so A Quiet Place made 341 million.
Yeah.
The last Resident Evil film made 312 million.
Mm-hmm.
Now, you think of the amount of critical praise, the amount of people that talk about it and that are proud to have watched it and enjoy it. Find me as many Resident Evil fans as you do A Quiet Place fans. You won't be able to do it.
I think it's different demographics. I think Quiet Place is for kind of cinema snobs.
But not too snobby.
I'm above.
You need
I'm the ultra
perfect
snob.
level of snobbery.
I'm the king of all snobs. And Resident Evil is 13-year-old little boys who like to see Milla Jovovich.
Yeah, but how are they paying to see this film? How are they getting into these films?
With their mummies and daddies.
But it's ridiculous. How are you not surprised by this fact?
Because
given the
this makes sense to me. Because that's a dumb action movie aimed for dummies and the masses, and The Quiet Place is like a smarter movie aimed for horror lovers, which is just a small subsection of movie lovers, and action movie is a big larger thing. What I'm confused about is that, as I alluded to in the intro of this review, and so nothing happens in this movie. That's what is the shocking part, I think. It feels like nothing happens. It feels like a mid-season episode of an old, tired TV show. Why would you come back to that?
So this was actually the lowest grossing film of the franchise.
Mm-hmm.
Be that because of quality or because of, like you say, nothing really happens in it. This film only made 148 million. And the next 2 made over 300 million each.
Mm-hmm.
So people watched this, and then they thought, oh yeah, watch the next one. Why? How? For what purpose? It's trash. The only thing I can imagine is, it was really big in China, or something like that.
Have you ever played any Resident Evil?
I briefly played Resident Evil 2.
The remake?
The original.
Oh.
Yeah. Where you are, Claire Redfield.
Mm-hmm.
You play as Claire Redfield.
Mm-hmm.
It's Claire Redfield. That'll make sense later. And I remember...
Wait, do you play as Claire Redfield?
Claire Redfield, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Claire Redfield,
okay, just to clarify, it's Claire Redfield.
It's definitely Claire Redfield, yeah.
Okay,
Claire Redfield, you play as her. So you're walking around as Claire Redfield. And I remember 2 things about that game. One is that it was stupid. There was a lot of Resident Evil fans out there, and I respect the franchise because it's a puzzle-solving / zombie thing. It's got some kind of bits in it that are powerful and, about death and loss and all that kind of stuff. But it doesn't make any sense. I remember you're in a police station and then you had to go upstairs and you had to get the metal plaque and go and put it in the fountain. And once you put it in the fountain, the secret door opened. Mm-hmm. And You then needed to go up to the roof to get a cog, to go down to the basement to put the cog in the machine. And I'm just thinking, this makes no sense. This is a terrible way to run a police station. How do they ever get anything done?
Oh, boss, I got a report for you. Oh, wait, I can't find the cog that goes into the ancient fountain.
Exactly. Oh, I need to get to the fire room. Has anyone got the secret medallion? No, it's upstairs in file cabinet F. No, it makes no sense.
Yeah.
So I didn't like it. I like puzzle solving games, but they have to have some resemblance of logic to them, and it didn't for me.
Okay. Let's talk about this, I guess.
I will say, right, at the start of this film, I really like the music. There's a theme song to the Resident Evil.
Is there?
Yeah.
I didn't notice it.
It's really, like, catchy. When I heard it, it brought back, like, fond memories, because I liked the first one. Back when I watched the first one, and I like the second one back when I watched the second one. So when it started, I was like, oh yeah, that music, maybe this isn't going to be as bad as I think it will be. But I was wrong. Let's talk about how if a virus gets released, the seas dry up.
Because humans are so essential for
life on Earth. Yeah.
Honestly, it would be the opposite.
Yeah, every study ever made proves that if you take humans out of the equation, plant and animal life grows exponentially.
Yeah, I just take the COVID years. You know, all those stories of animals coming to town and nature just doing wonderful.
Yeah,
with us.
Everything rewilding.
Yeah.
I've been to Chernobyl.
Okay.
And it's same there. Like you've got like huge trees growing out of like their football fields. It's the complete opposite of what would happen. The seas dry up because virus.
Yeah.
What? It makes no sense.
No.
Where would all that water go? It has to go somewhere.
Yeah.
There's not a cloud in the sky.
And to make it confusing, they are in a desert that's already a desert.
Yeah.
In Nevada.
They're in Nevada.
They're in Nevada. Maybe if you get out of the actual desert, maybe it's a little bit better somewhere else.
Just go down the road.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful glade.
Go to Washington. That's a hip and skip and scop away.
Well said.
Skip and scop away. And that's like a beautiful, rainy, woody place.
Yeah. It makes no sense why everything would die.
Yeah.
And especially as the water dries up. You can say virus equals death, therefore, plant life dies. Fine. But that still doesn't account for the water.
But don't worry, because there's still companies that exist.
Yeah. What are they drinking if there's no water?
I'll tell you what they're drinking. Because there's not only one company that exists, Umbrella Corporation, obviously the big spooky corporation.
Yeah.
I spotted 4 companies that's still working in this post-apocalyptic desert. Umbrella, Sony, who coincidentally made this film, Nestle,
Okay.
and Pepsi.
Yeah.
Our
I saw Pepsi.
Our favorite is back.
Madam Web.
Madam Web and 28 Days Later.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
Never put those two in the same sentence again.
I'm sorry. So don't worry, they're drinking Pepsi and they're all good. Pepsi still lives on. It's so weird because they have this like broken down garage and it's like they go in and there's like a beautiful pristine Pepsi machine that no one touched. There's no dirt on it. It glows when there's no electricity.
Big LED lights.
Yeah.
Arrows. Bzz, 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 bzz.
Yeah, it was like that.
Speaking of, I am actually going to have a delicious Pepsi.
Oh yeah, I think it worked on us. Refreshing.
The refreshing taste of free Pepsi. If Pepsi's listening, we are open to advertising.
Dude, we gave them so much already. We should be just getting money for the things we did.
If anything, they owe us back payment.
Yeah, I put a giant Pepsi logo in the Madam Web thumbnail. And then all the Sony products, all the Sony radios, the Sony Vaio laptops that no one ever uses in real life. just in Sony movies.
Right. Can we talk about something I've realised while watching this film? Right.
The life is pointless. Why are we here? Just to suffer.
And it goes along the same lines as post-apocalypse, everything's on fire. Right. Why is everything on fire? Nobody knows. Do these fires persist indefinitely? It appears that way. My next note on post-apocalypse is, why is there a surplus of red paint? Because whenever you see like shit written on the walls, like the end is nigh, or like someone's written an anarchy symbol, it's always in red paint. What happens to the rest of the paint in the post-apocalyptic world? Or do people just go into like break into the hardware store? Red, that's it. End is nigh.
Red paint is the cheapest to produce.
Is it?
It's just iron oxide, which means it's rust.
Okay.
It's rust plus whatever else his paint is made of.
Just once, I would like to see like "Run for Your Lives" written in like baby blue,
A glittery
or
paint.
just a yellow, you know.
A turquoise.
It's a lovely teal motif.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start a drinking game.
Yeah.
Every time you watch a post-apocalyptic film, you have to drink every time something's on fire, and you have to drink every time something's written on the wall in red paint.
Because I don't drink alcohol, can I drink a delicious Pepsi?
Well, yes, you can drink a delicious Pepsi. Because they have so many to choose from. There's lime, there's cherry, there's max, there's diet, there's regular, there's other kinds as well. Pepsi.
This is better than the ad we did earlier.
Yeah, cutting our advert to this point, and it's going to be so much worse.
Can I just list off some of my notes?
Yes, please do.
Because they're non-specific, but I think just me listing them off gives you a vibe of what I've gone through this film. Oh my god, these special effects. This editing. Everyone's so clean. I hate the style of this movie. Everything that this movie attempts as a style, I fucking hate it. There's the editing, which is if someone jumps, have 5 different camera angles of someone jumping edited in, and weird random angles. And that makes it epic. And then there's the frame cutouts.
The frame cutouts?
Yeah, like they cut out frames so that when like a creature comes at Milla Jovovich, it's all like jittery and weird.
Okay.
And I just, it looks like a 90s skateboard video effect. It looks terrible. I don't know why they're using it. It's so dated and so bad.
Everything about these films is that.
Yeah.
I think it started as like a homage to that kind of like old school 90s horror action type thing.
Yeah.
And it just snowballed out of control. What I don't like is everything's just so predictable. Like not even predictable in a kind of like, oh, I figured this out kind of way. It's in a, come on. Like she walks into this like truck stop and there's like someone like, oh, help me, help me, help me. Oh, that's like, and I wrote down, good thing that's not a trap.
Yeah.
And immediately like springs the trap.
What's not predictable is that never comes back. Like in a slightly better movie, that would have some sort of effect. Like even if Milla Jovovich's arm gets hurt or something, that scene set up something.
Yeah, she leaves one alive and it comes back up later in the film. You know?
Is it?
No, that's what I'm saying. That's what it should have done.
Okay, yeah.
You know?
Something.
Yeah. I think it's just supposed to show, because the previous film is not, the end of the world hasn't happened. It's happening, but it hasn't happened. I think that's just to show that this is kind of like a dog-eat-dog world.
Whatever.
Yeah.
Milla Jovovich eat dog world. Because she eats some dogs. It's just nothing matters. That's the biggest takeaway from this movie. It's just nothing matters. Nothing matters. Why are we here? Just to suffer? Sorry. Like they have this caravan of badass fighters of zombies.
Caravan of badass fighters zombies. Did they have a name? Was it
Claire Redfield.
Was it Claire Redfield's convoy?
Yes. She kept being name dropped like it means something.
It was so like painfully obvious, and it was literally they had this conversation and they were like, "This is Claire Redfield's convoy. Can you come to the here, please?" And then someone replied, "No, but this is Claire Redfield's convoy. Claire Redfield. I'm Claire Redfield. Can you answer, please?" No.
No Claire Redfield.
But I'm Claire Redfield. This is Claire Redfield's convoy.
Claire Redfield out. I think the reason they were doing that is because they definitely received some criticisms from the first movie on, is that it has barely anything to do with the games.
Yeah, because you can't have anything to do with the games. It's impossible. You cannot have Milla Jovovich going to file cabinet F to find the golden medallion to put it in the fountain to open the door.
I don't know.
Because the problem with the original things is it's fairly gibberish.
The recent ones are fairly translatable, I think, to movies, because they are basically little movies that you do busy work in between. It starts from 7, it becomes very cinematic. And that one is like a Texas Chainsaw Massacre. You are in this redneck family. They have the virus, whatever, and you held hostage. And the village is like you're in the village and fight zombies, and you fight your way up to the boss. So some of it could be. You don't have to keep the puzzle elements too frequent, but like have notes to it instead of just shouting a character's name constantly.
I think it made sense. It's like Fallout. There's enough bits in Fallout to kind of the world building of it, but it's not the same plot. It doesn't have the same characters, and that's what they were going for. You know, it's set in the same world, but I don't think you need to name drop people, because what is Resident Evil? It's a zombie game.
Yeah, I feel like they could have done a bit more. First of all, being in the desert, that none of the games are set in the desert.
No.
There's some lore to the games. So back to Nothing Matters. So they have this convoy of Claire Redfield.
Claire Redfield's convoy.
Yes.
Cool.
Completely pointless.
Yeah.
They have these characters, and like some stuff happens to them, but it's so inconsequential. Like mainly that guy that gets bitten. The guy that
hides it.
Yeah, the guy that hides it. He gets bitten by a zombie. He hides it. You think this is gonna be like a source of drama later on. It's like, oh, do we kill him? Do we not kill him? You know, typical zombie thing. No, he just bites another guy, and then the other guy dies as well.
Yeah,
and then
everybody dies.
And then whatever. Nothing matters. Who cares? You don't spend any time with these characters, so you don't care about them at all. And then, my favorite thing about that convoy.
Whose convoy?
Claire Redfield's convoy, sorry. Just in case.
So you have to be specific, otherwise people don't know.
My favorite thing was, we were talking during the movie, obviously, because it was very bad. You were like, oh, who's this blonde girl? She's going to be someone important.
Oh, yeah.
She's going to be. And the movie did set it up like that a little bit. Who was she?
I can't remember her name.
She was no one.
So she had like a secret name, didn't she? She was like, oh, I was found in the desert and they call me Bubblegum or whatever.
Yeah.
But they're like, what's your real name? And she's like, oh, I don't like to say. And it's like, ooh, wonder who she's going to be.
No one.
No one.
She flies off.
Because there is a girl I'm pretty sure there's a girl in Resident Evil 2 and you go and save her. Pretty sure she's really annoying because you have to get her to follow you and shit. But no. I think the implication was that Claire Redfield has escaped Raccoon City with the girl. That's where they are now.
Oh, great. I bet we'll never see them again.
Nope. Oh, Kmart. I've written it down. Kmart is her name. That's because that's where they found her, in a Kmart.
Okay.
There you go. There's another corporation that still exists.
I was working the checkouts.
It was a really quiet day. There was no one around.
Let's talk about, how do you operate a corporation in a post-apocalypse? How do you make money for your expensive suits and holograms?
Well, you don't make money. You
scientists?
just have that stuff. You have that stuff squirreled away in a bunker already. And then it's not a corporation at that point. It's more like a secret society.
Okay. What do you pay your scientists with?
You pay them with the hope of fixing the world. You pay them with the fact that they have food and water when the surface doesn't.
That's a better answer. And how do they, what kind of experiments they do to save the world? It's just to keep cloning Milla Jovovich to recreate the first movies.
I mean, you would.
Would you?
No.
She's boring as shit. She would not be a leading actress if her husband wasn't the director.
Well, I mean...
Wes Anderson.
There's so much stupid shit that happens the second she meets Claire Redfield's convoy.
Oh yeah, Birdemic happens.
It's
not that far removed, like effects-wise. It's really bad.
So first of all, the guy gets bitten. Do you remember? Here's a question for you, quiz. You've remembered.
I do.
You do remember.
I was wondering in my notes what that said and just put it together. That's the world's dumbest asshole who shouldn't be alive.
So he's
in the post-apocalypse.
He's sitting in a bedroom and he sees a zombie and he gets up and he shoots the mirror Because in the mirror, the zombie's behind him. Like, he can see himself in the mirror, and he still tries to shoot the zombie.
Maybe that guy is like baby brain. He doesn't have object permanence. You go up to him, is like, where did I go? Peekaboo. And he's like, oh my god, what the fuck? Yeah. That's why you want your characters to be as dumb as Homer Simpson in your movie.
Do you remember they introduced the tin guy?
Oh my god.
I assume he dies at some point, but they introduce him as this like, oh, it's my superpower. And all he's doing is picking up tins and shaking them next to his ear. And it's like, that's pork and beans. And he shakes it, another one. That's tin fruit. He shakes another one. That's dog food. No, it's not. Why? What?
Why are the labels removed?
Where are all the labels? Why have the zombies just gone into every supermarket and ripped the labels off them? Just
this is gonna screw them up. This is gonna stall them for 2 minutes while they open another one. It's like, dog food. Okay, I'll open another one.
Yeah.
And the guy, it goes nowhere.
Yeah.
Why is that in the movie?
Yeah, and the zombie birds. That's the biggest stupid thing. Because they keep shooting. Why are they shooting? What are they shooting at? How? And the film portrays it as if, like, one of them's flying towards it and they shoot it, and then the next one's flying towards them and they shoot it. But it's not. They're just shooting into the sky, like random rednecks.
Just don't worry, Milla Jovovich is there to use the force. They're like, why did you disappear? Because it's too dangerous for me to be here. Anyway, let me sleep here now.
Yeah, it's too dangerous for me to be here. But anyway, can I join her convoy? Can I join the convoy now, please?
Yeah.
And we're going to travel together down the road to the corporation.
Yeah. We gotta get to Alaska, but first we gotta stop the evil international corporation. Before we do that,
we gotta get to Alaska, but can we quickly get everyone killed? Attacking like a super high-tech military base.
Yeah, there's no one in. There's no security guards.
Just one guy.
Every time that made me laugh because they're doing this cool. Imagine 100 quotation marks around cool transition scene where every time he goes to a corporation, it's this like 3D kind of heat map.
Yep.
But there's only like 2 people in this giant complex. Like, what's the point?
That's something they started doing in the first film.
Okay.
And it makes perfect sense in the first film because everybody's dead apart from the team that goes in. Mm-hmm. So you track people that way and it looks quite cool and it makes sense there. But no, it doesn't make any sense here because there's no one there.
No one there.
No one's ever there. And you know what the weirdest bit about that is, right? There's a heat map.
Yeah.
Where it goes in and 2 people are walking towards the boardroom and the boardroom has a heat map, right? Everyone's sitting at the table.
And everyone's a hologram.
And everyone's a hologram.
What's the actor's name? Who's the bad guy in this?
The scientist.
It's Lord Friendzone from Game of Thrones. So Lord Friendzone, he deserves more than this. Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
I felt so bad for him, especially when they like put the prosthetic on him and he has to go boogedy boogedy boogedy. Boogedy boogedy. I'm the big monster now. Boogedy boogedy boogedy. It's like, he's probably like a Shakespearean British actor or something. Poor guy.
He's alright. He does the best he can with it.
Yeah. With nothing.
Yeah. Boogedy boogedy.
That's what he did.
Holds out his hands.
Yeah, that's the boogedy boogedy boogedy. So he does these experiments of cloning Milla Jovovich, putting her through the scenarios of the first movie.
Yeah.
Laser.
He puts her in like an escape room, like a deadly escape room.
Yeah. For reasons.
Mm-hmm.
Which is...
Yeah, I don't know.
I've got a question for you. Let's say you're a CEO of a super secret organization, Umbrella.
Yep.
You got these underground facilities that run themselves,
but
still you need an access. So how would you guard? How would you guard your access to your underground bunker?
So in your scenario, there's zombies everywhere.
Yes.
Hundreds and hundreds of zombies. Well, I just think a small chain link fence would hold them, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bit of chicken wire.
Bit of chicken wire, yeah. Let's put some barbed wire on top of it, because...
Yeah.
Just because.
The zombies will go, ouch.
That'll put them off. Because, yeah, if you put hundreds of people and lean them towards a fence, they'll hold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but just in case, put men there, just 2 men on the door, just to watch them. Keep an eye.
Those two men, what are they thinking? Just constantly shitting themselves.
That would be terrifying.
Just like, where do I look?
I think the line that sums up this film the most, and I think at this point we just both howled with laughter, is when they drive into Las Vegas.
Yeah.
They drive into Las Vegas, and Claire Redfield of Claire Redfield's Convoy, don't know if you know her, looks around. She's looking around. She's like, oh my God, what happened here?
Yeah. What happened here? What do you think?
It's a zombie apocalypse. Yeah, there's a container full of zombies.
Yeah.
Super zombies done by Dr. Friendlove or whatever his
And
name
they're
is.
all clones except one has hair. And there's...
They're not clones.
They all look the same.
There's zombies that he's turned into super zombies with his super secret theorem.
I don't remember any of this.
So he locks the scientists in a room with him. John Malkovich is there.
Yeah, you thought it was John Malkovich.
That genuinely looks like John Malkovich.
Okay. All right.
If you told me now that was John Malkovich, I'd be like, yeah, cool.
He kills the two scientists because I assume there's a lot of scientists / lab technicians you can spare
Yeah.
in this post-apocalypse.
Post-apocalypse world, they're everywhere. Just put them off the street.
Back to the container.
Yes. I was getting angry
Oh.
at this point.
Oh, shit.
I was getting real angry.
Yeah.
Because it's very well established that if you shoot them in the head, they die. And it's very well established that if you shoot them in the body, they don't die. And yet every single person hit center mass like they were aiming for it. Every single one of them. Not one of them even attempted to aim for the head.
Yeah.
Not once. And they all died because of that. And it's just so badly written and badly done. It's just infuriating. And it's the same with every zombie film again. Like, for every headshot in a zombie film, there's 10 other body shots. And every single time the person is surprised that the zombie gets up or just doesn't stop at all. And it's again and again and again and again for a solid 10 minutes.
Yeah. Other problem is that better zombie films, that still happens, but at least there's something else to enjoy in the film.
And what I really don't understand,
Yeah.
because Milla Jovovich starts kicking ass. She
Yeah.
starts doing flying kicks through the air.
Oh my God. I've got
So
to talk about
she
that.
does the flying kicks through the air, which somehow kills the zombie more than
I'm going
bullet.
to talk about this right now. She does this cool kick that makes her split in the air.
Yep.
That's a half powerful kick because you spent half of your energy kicking backwards. So that's like a half little kick that barely hurts.
And then she goes on to start cutting their throats.
Yeah.
It's not how zombies die. Like, at least stick to your own fucking premise.
But she has to use the cool blades, you know.
Our favourite death of the whole scene ends when she stabs that zombie in his zombie balls.
Oh, yeah.
She like, it makes a whole kind of like jokey, like, I've stabbed you, and he dies. The zombie dies.
Guys, I found a new weakness. It's in their balls.
You'll never guess what.
The thing that annoyed me in that scene is that there's this container and it just flips open. This was before they're fighting the zombies.
Yeah.
It flips open, darkness inside. And then no sound, no nothing. And then just hundreds of zombies pour out. Like literally way more than they should be. They should have been up to the door, you know? Just bunched up like in a Japanese train when they're shoving people in, you know? Can you help make sense of my notes?
I can try.
I just wrote down, look, they're all about to give up.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
That's when she gives her noble speech about going to Alaska. Oh, that was it. That is when... Yeah, that was when they're sitting on the edge of the bus, just trying to decide whether they go to Alaska. And the guy, I mean, they're sitting right next to everyone else. Like, everyone else is a couple of meters away from them.
it.
And he's like, look at these guys. They've given up hope. They're going to die tomorrow.
You're like, what? What are you talking about, mate? What did you just say?
What did you say?
I didn't give up.
They need...
Fuck you.
Because Claire Redfield, from
Yeah.
Claire Redfield's Convoy, is like, oh, they don't need pipe dreams. They need solid leads to do stuff. And they're like, no, we need hope. They've lost hope. They're terrible. Look at this guy. Look at little Timmy. Look at Timmy. He's going to
He
die.
shoves it in front of the screen.
He's going to die tomorrow.
And he's like smiling. What?
So Milla Jovovich is kicking some ass. But then, oh no, Dr. Friendzone, he finds the Bluetooth connection
Yeah.
to connect
yeah.
to her. He's put in the Wi-Fi password. He's guessed it right. Clone Lover 69. He's remembered the password.
So I seen the first movie, but I don't remember anything about it. Like literally nothing other than the laser scene. And you told me that there's a thing where they can find Milla Jovovich because she has something
There's
in
like
her brain.
a camera in the back of her eye or
Camera
something.
in the back of her eye. In this movie, was like, what the fuck? How do they see what she sees all of a sudden? They were looking for her all this time.
Yeah.
But then they show like a outside of the planet scene of a satellite. So like the satellite couldn't find her all this time, but they had to be close on the ground.
Well, I think they have to know roughly where she is so they can send the satellite to find
So
her.
they can connect her Bluetooth.
So you can shut her down. And she just steps still, like she's being controlled by a robot.
Yeah. Ugh.
It does explain that. I hate to give this film credit. When she first meets Hero Sacrifice, she does say to him, "Oh, like, I've been traveling from place to place, staying out of satellite range."
Oh, okay. Fine. But then something in the satellite breaks for some reason. What was that? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah, because Milla Jovovich uses her force powers to reach out space.
To reach out to space to fry the satellite.
Why couldn't you do that before?
You wouldn't know to do that before.
Why would you know to do that now?
Because she tried. Because
She should have tried earlier.
Because she's stuck. Yeah, you don't put yourself in a trap to see if you can escape the trap. I don't know why I'm defending this film.
I don't know.
But yeah, you wouldn't get yourself controlled by umbrellas just to see if you could escape control by umbrella. You just wouldn't put yourself in that situation.
I remember that guy who started to hack the satellite. He's like, oh my god, there's a satellite down. I will have it back in 90 seconds. Tick, 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 tick. I've got my one sentence review. It's a bit late, but I just remembered it.
Okay.
This movie is as pleasant as sand in my crotch, which Milla Jovovich surely had because of the outfit she was wearing wasn't sandproof.
Yeah, she spends the entire film in like
Suspenders.
stockings and suspenders.
It's like this giant heeled boot,
Yeah.
and then that's suspended. Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, it's generally like sexy suspenders for some reason.
well, for the 13-year-old boys who wants to see that. And yeah, sand would get into that in the post-apocalypse. Sand in your crotch.
They steal a petrol tanker. They blow up their petrol tanker, which is the only thing they have that's of any value whatsoever.
Yeah.
And they blow it up to distract the zombies.
They get a little helicopter that doesn't support all the people they need to move.
Yeah.
And
It was like, at the start of the film, there was like 30 kids. And you don't see any of them die. I guess it's implied some of them die. But then they all get on a helicopter. And at this point, I was so bored of the film, I started looking up helicopter facts. Helicopter facts, right? So they're in Nevada,
yeah,
right? And they're trying to fly to Alaska.
which is pretty far away.
How far would you think Alaska is from Nevada?
They're not the furthest away possible. The whole of Canada is in the way. 2,000 miles?
Oh, very close.
Really?
2,320
Whoa.
miles. And I guess that's from the center of each, so border to border, you're probably about right.
Yeah.
Yeah? Right. How far do you reckon a helicopter can fly on average? 500 miles. You're going to get a quarter of the way there. And then what?
They drop in Canada.
You drop, you well, you
In
wouldn't
the
even
Atlantic Ocean.
even make it to Canada. You would just be somewhere in North America, North America, and then you'd be in the same problem.
Yeah.
Like, why are you not just taking the bus? Just drive the bus that you had there. Drive the van that you had there. There's cars everywhere. They got to be full of petrol.
No, it's all worth it because they have 10th of the people. They lost, they lost most of the people.
But yeah, you can fly 500 miles in a helicopter. So you would travel 500 miles and then you'd travel 500 more just to be the man that walked into Alaska.
I just realised what you're doing. Yeah.
No, but no, genuinely, it's 500 miles.
I bet we'll never see those characters ever again in any future franchise.
Wouldn't think so.
Does the Earth grow back normal to chapter 4?
I have no idea.
I bet it does. And they drop that Milla Jovovich clone plotline as hard as they can in the first 5 minutes. I bet.
They all have a clone virus that kills them all. That would be my bet.
Yeah. So they kill the Boogie.
Yeah, with
The spooky
the
boogie.
grid laser from the
Yeah,
first film.
Great. Just reuse everything that worked. The only
Yeah.
thing that worked in the first one. And then he's like the not even the first henchman of the bad guy. So like, who the fuck cares?
Yeah.
She should have just left. Why did she go in? to blow up the facility.
Yeah.
It's pointless. She should have just left. It'd be just as impactful as him killing this whatever boss. If I was a fan of this franchise, which is hard to put my mind into that, I would be really pissed at this movie. It's like nothing happens.
Well, it did the worst of all of them.
Yeah.
So
And nothing gets accomplished, nothing happens.
she goes into the lab, and I think there's a point where she's looking at the computer, or she's talking to the little girl computer, and she's like, oh my god, we have everything here to make a cure for the virus, and they don't do anything. It never comes up again.
But I found a better thing, which
Yeah.
is my clones.
Yeah, I can make a 1,000 clones of myself, or I can cure the world. Clones. They should have called the next one Resident Evil Attack of the Clones.
Attack of the Milla Jovoviches.
I will say this about the Resident Evil games. They would have been a lot easier if you had telekinesis powers.
Yeah, you'd have to go all the way up to floor 3 to get the file cabinet with the ancient cog that powers the fountain. Yay.
Yay.
I think this random movie machine is working out really well.
Why do we do it to ourselves? I don't understand. We have the choice. We make this podcast. We have choices. We have choices in our lives, and we just don't. I don't understand.
Well, what's next?
I don't know. What are we doing next?
We talked about it. We're gonna do what I call, you might have different interpretations of this. I want to do like an episode just on anecdotes, and I would call it video store memories.
Oh, yeah.
My uncle owned a video store, and I have the weirdest fucking memories from that, and the weirdest fucking movies I've seen. Thank you for listening,
Thank you for listening.
and see you next time.
Peace.